Today we're going walking.
Where are we walking?
We're walking across bridges to islands.
We're going to walk into Quebec again.
We are going to walk into Quebec and then we're going to walk west and we're going to
walk back into Ontario again.
We're back into Ontario again and then we're going to a vegan market.
A vegan market. Stay tuned.
Vegan food. Yay.
Bo with feeling.
Vegans who snack, it's called. So
sugary snacks for fat vegans. So that's where we walked yesterday, coming this way and then going back that way. And today we came on the O this way and we're going to go that way. But a couple of things. Overnight, the York Steps have had some really cool art made on them. Isn't that cool? There's Kitty drinking all the water. Now, what would this be for? On my left. I'm not pointing to it because I'm being surveilled. What would have to be there for? That's anti-terrorism cars, isn't it? Mystery solved. Why all of the passive security? Because this is America. This is a little part of America. Once you step over that door, you're in America and have no legal rights. They can arrest you and keep you forever and not charge you. They can send you to a third world country and torture you and still not charge you. America, home of the free and brave. Terrified, hiding behind their stuff. Stopping to smell the flowers. So that's where we came, across the bridge. And we're coming up here. And where we're going to go is we're going to follow the Ottawa River on the Quebec side and then cross over footbridges back in Ontario.
we could take the water taxi home.
We could. There's only 3 stops, there, and I think one down there. If you want to, we could go from C to B or A once we've walked there, because that's where we're walking to pretty much, is C. Things you'll notice you've actually got the French on the left and the English on the right because we're in Quebec. You'll also notice that is not written in any first person's language. You'll also notice it's not written in any First Nations language, which is absolutely disgusting considering what it's portraying. Competing with the ongoing thunder from the road bridge. Here actually starts with the language of the person they're honouring first, and is included, and that's really important. And this is a very interesting point of view. A tall guy. How tall is he, Kitty?
It's very large.
Much larger than Kitty.
10 feet tall.
So what they don't mention is that the mist from the rapids and the waterfall that was here, that was second in size to Niagara Falls before we dammed it, was actually a transitional space and very, very sacred. In the early histories of conquest, the First Nations people, regardless of tribal origin, would always stop here on a sandbank on this area after traversing the rapids and portaging and pray to whoever they prayed for. We didn't record who or why or how. And then they would leave. And we also know that they actually buried people on this site in the sandbanks. And then we also know by the end of the 19th century, when we were building the Parliament buildings, they decided to use that sand to build the mortar for the Parliament buildings. So literally Canada's Parliament is held together by the bones of buried and desecrated First Nations people. There goes Kitty. Better keep up. Kitty's sitting on a rock in Ottawa. What's the temperature like?
Nice.
Nice?
Nice.
Swim, swim. Naked swim. What did you say they were, Kitty?
Tree killers.
Kind of fun because if you get close, you get to see Parliament through the...
Oh, and also it kind of comes more to life as you get close.
Yeah, I don't know if you capture it on the camera, but
Yeah, it's interesting.
definitely coming more to life. Always kind of fun. Now we have a question for Kitty. It says, from 1800, settlers disappointed by agriculture turned to forestry and exported raw timber, fashioned into rafts which floated down the Ottawa River. However, Kitty knows the actual real story of that. What was the nationality of the settler?
American.
Right, and why did he do it?
To make money.
Napoleonic Wars.
because yes, the Napoleonic Wars, so England didn't have its source of
Bavarian
wood.
pine.
Bavarian pine.
Right, from Europe, because of Napoleon.
So they found a substitute in the white pine.
One of the varieties of white pine.
And they sent squared lumber.
Right, initially. And then planes.
And then planes, but by the time they were planing it and cutting it, they were mostly sending it to the States.
Right.
Because they'd probably eaten up all their own wood, because they were similarly forested, but developed earlier.
Indeed, this is true, that there was a military project so we could use British troops to reinforce Ottawa and Montreal quickly in the event of an American invasion. However, what was the direct effect on construction of the Rideau Canal, apart from thousands of dead people, on the local First Nations?
They wrote in protest.
Multiple times.
Their huntings and gathering and fishing areas were being destroyed.
Right.
And it allowed development along both sides of the Rideau, which really ate into their land and their livelihood.
And from 1851, a vast wood processing industry grew up on the Quebec shore and on the islands we're about to go to. However, those islands are sacred to the First Nations, and Justin Trudeau decided to allow condominium development on them.
He was the last rubber stamp.
He was the last rubber stamp, but he rubber stamped it. So instead of turning the islands we're about to visit into a ecological
Indigenous
First Nations healing park,
they're going to be condos.
Condos for rich people. Excellent. I look forward to us becoming a republic. We have to make Charles the last. Well, you can really see the river starting to move now.
Yeah.
Again, it's interesting what's omitted. There's almost zero First Nations references here, and this was in fact their country, and we did in fact steal it quite deliberately in the end of the 18th and 19th centuries. So it's fascinating to me as a Brit just how we have still lying about the origins of Canada, and I don't think you can have reconciliation with lies. For some reason the Irish in Quebec really hate the English, and they remove English words whenever they can. That's right, most Quebecois come from Ireland. Well, here we are in the wilds of Canada. We've walked 20 minutes away from the constant roar of that. And yet you can still find little areas about what it would have looked like 300 years ago, before we came and destroyed it. I do have to say, Quebec graffiti artists, generally speaking, from what I've seen, far superior to their Anglophone cousins. Confederation statue on the Quebec side. Can you notice anything wrong? And what a lovely job they've made of it, eh? This is just a wonderful thing to turn a normal portage of the waterfalls into. Yeah, there's waterfalls here. They were buried. Kitty's hungry. This is a Quebec bus. We're now going to cross the relatively recent Potage Bridge, or Pont Potage, as the Quebecers know it. So they built a capital region to unify Upper and Lower Canada. And again, there's absolutely no sign whatsoever that anybody was here before they did this. A blank canvas was not blank. So it appears to be sealed off. We couldn't get in that way. We're going to try and break in this way. The reason I feel okay to break in here is in 1974 a cross-Canada First Nations convoy came here to occupy this building and this piece of land for a very specific purpose, which we will talk about if we ever get to have lunch over there in the people's land. So it's completely shut down because they're claiming that they're trying to fix it. Absolute twaddle, they just don't want it occupied. Extremely fun place. Absolutely disappointed we can't get into that.
But I think that way is the way we should go.
Kitty's using her powers of directional sense to find us a lunch spot. And I think she's decided where we should eat. Do we actually need to eat, Kitty?
Yes!
Where are we eating?
Over there.
Over there.
We're eating over there.
Alright.
Maybe the view is not as good as I thought.
Well, maybe it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Navy monument.
This is a Navy monument.
Yeah.
Canada actually had, I think, the third or the second or the largest Navy in the world in 1945. Mark my words, whoever may take over the reins of power will have to have a Navy, as every nation with a seashore must have and has had in its past. Yes. Goodness. Stephen Harper. Yes. It's a pity Stephen Harper's not in power now. He'd absolutely love this Ukraine stuff. Those who never serve are the quickest to fight. Neither of us can speak English or French. Yeah, you can walk up like all the way to Kingston from here. That would be an epic journey. As it was when they tamed the waterfall and dammed it and created hydro to run pulp buildings. Man, that would have been a nice place to have lunch. Now a brief word from our sponsor. Of course they haven't sponsored me at all, I just bought it. But currently Kitty is eating all of this rather than sharing it. Kitty, how is it? Apparently it is very satisfying in the mouth when one is eating it as quickly as possible to avoid giving half of it to your partner. It's not actually your food, it's shared food. Bit greasy. I think they've used definitely natural peanut butter, which is actually nice. It should be a bit greasy. 80 grams. I've no idea what that is in groats for my English audience. It's the 2nd today, isn't it? 3rd. It's the 3rd of June today. This expires in 15 days, so I'm glad we got to eat it now rather than have to eat it when it expired. Pretty dark. Underground parking. There's beer. It's Mill Street beer, because this is actually parking for Mill Street Brewery, which is right there. What's cool is this parking is actually under the bridge itself. Wow, cool use of space. Oh, there goes Kitty. There goes Kitty looking for a washroom. Down the waterfall, provided the power to chop the trees down and sell for warships. This has been a 2022 starving terrier trying to eat grass because of the famine production.